Up YouTube, there is this thing and I kind of made a video about it a little bit, but I wanted to just expand on it because I don't think I really kind of drove it home well enough, or it was something I just kind of touched on. But the thing is, of course, that the anti-vegan spirit is evil. It is a spiritual evil, and it comes from uh, in many cases, evil creatures that look like people. So, what I mean by that, you can even find now the the spiritual talk online about it, and how they they even recognize uh, the spiritual nature of this and what it means, and uh, that they just it doesn't have anything to do with health. It has to do with they can't stand not hurting something, and so they and I mean there's no better word for that than spiritual evil, and that's exactly what we're encountering. Is these are low vibration, just monstrous kinds of people who and not to say that if you're not vegan, because I wasn't vegan for a long time, I wasn't aware, but the people who go anti-vegan, these are the evil ones. These are the ones that uh, they're not merely concerned with just living their life. They actually hate vegans because and they hated themselves. Even, and you can hear Sparrow talk about his suicidal thoughts when he was vegan, and it's because uh, that's what happens when someone evil takes up the mantle of uh, something good. If something evil takes up the mantle of something good, is that it begins to hate itself. And so there's this. It's very much he recognized and now he's completely aware. That's why he eats raw meat. That's why he completely went the other direction, because he realized what he was. He understood, and the same with other anti-vegans. It's like they go vegan for virtually random reasons, and and they don't understand who they are. Veganism shows them who they are, which is the psychopaths, psychopathic evil, and so they can't stand veganism because it it's the antithesis to what they are, and they understand it once they try it. They realize, yeah, they've got to hurt things. They've got to make things suffer and maximize evil. And so then they go from veganism and learning what they are to trying to destroy veganism on a spiritual level, because they know that it's the opposite of everything that they are, and so they hate it. It's exactly the same as uh, imagine that um, there's a vampire baby, and the humans raise that vampire baby, and they're just like, yeah, we know it's a vampire, but um, we're just going to raise it like a human, and um, every now and then we'll sneak some like blood of roadkill into the food that they're eating, and um, you know never let them know what they are, so that they don't fully understand. And so that's what happens. But then the vampire baby, it's growing up, and then it gets told about vampires, and it's like, so it hurts us. And they're like, yeah, yeah, vampires, they go around and they hunt us, and they're evil. And so this is what happens, is that when a psychopath goes vegan, it's the vampire baby grows up and becomes a vampire hunter. And the first thing they do is they they grab their silver, and it hurts when they touch it. They but then they put that string of garlic around their neck, and it almost kills them. And they're just like, and they feel like shit, and they're going trying to like hunt vampires they can barely see. They have no idea what they are. They don't know that they're the evil that everyone's been telling them about. And so, you know, here these evil creatures are, you know, and now they're congregating online and understanding the spiritual aspect of this, that they are the evil, that they are actually the evil that that's around. And so they're, once they go vegan, then they begin to embrace that. They just decide that, and then if you listen to them talk, they have almost a coded language. I understand it because I can see uh, clearly. I have the sight, I guess you can say, to know, to see evil for what it is. And I mean, it's not that hard. It's really just keep understanding that, you know, veganism is it is the attempt to become spiritually higher, and live for something better than just uh, carnal desire. It's the will to help others. It's compassion. It's empathy. But these things are monstrous creatures. They can't stand veganism for everything that it stands for, everything that it means. It disgusts them because they're evil and they hate good. They hate anything good. So you know, they're over there just chopping animals up and eating it raw, and who knows what else. I mean, as a famous psychopath once said, a pro-social psychopath is just someone who hasn't been caught yet. And so, you know, and these are people who just love the culture of dead animals, in not just a like, I do it because it tastes good and I have to. They don't just believe that. It's also, they just, you can see they just enjoy the cruelty. You know, they love that aspect of it. They love that something is being hurt, so that they can just feel momentarily better. And it's vampiric, of course. So yeah, I just wanted to make this video and sort of point out that anti-veganism is spiritually evil. It's not just, oh, I had a bad reaction to fruitarianism. It's that these are people who are going out of their way to target veganism as a whole, and on no real basis, but they just want to, but they're willing to just take one aspect of veganism and say that it applies to every part, and attack vegans and say things like, oh, vegans don't have, vegans are the ones without compassion. They're the vegans are the evil ones. It's like, no, no, that's definitely not true, and it's obvious, and it's projection, that it's just projection that you're saying that. The projection is very much that you're not the one who has empathy here. I have empathy for the animals. I have empathy for you. I can understand your mind, but you can't even for a second put yourself in the shoes of the tens of billions of animals that have to go through the slaughterhouse every year because it makes you feel good to eat meat. It's just the evil is so obvious in these people, and how much they hate veganism is the spiritually evil part. It's like, and you can even see, like, what was his name? I think he's like a keto guy. I watch a keto guy because I do keto vegan, and but he eats meat, and like a lot of others, they're not making anti-vegan videos. They just say I respect veganism. They pay lip service to veganism, and it's like these are, while I think that you're just trying to sort of make excuses in a way to not go vegan, or perhaps you on some level you haven't got to the point where you can care yet. These people are not the evil ones. They are paying respects to vegans. Like they're fully recognizing that they don't have the willpower, they don't have the wherewithal to go fully vegan. They haven't got it in them yet. And on some level, I can understand that, because I backslid into meat eating and eating dairy a few times, and so in my journey, and so I fully understand going vegan overnight. Just it's not something that's very sustainable, and it's really hard to just go vegan. You have to overhaul your entire life, and so they're they're paying lip service. They're not evil. These aren't spiritually evil people, merely subverting intentionally veganism. But these ones like the Spherigites, they're the people who they just love cruelty. They hate vegans. They hate that they were ever vegan. They're spiritually evil people. So I just wanted to put that out there into the consciousness so you can understand. I mean, these are the vampires. These are the monsters from old stories that they told you about. And they're figuring out that they're the monsters. It's like that's the thing, is that kids are born ignorant of their nature, and they learn their nature as they grow old. And that's why when these people go vegan and hate it and hate themselves, they get suicidal. They feel, and it only reveals their nature more. It's like a lot of these people say the same things about, like, oh, when I went vegan I wanted to like kill people, and and it's like, yeah, that's very telling, isn't it? Because I don't feel like killing anybody, except for maybe the people who say things like that. Because I can see that the evil of psychopathy, it threatens all of humanity at this point. I mean, our weapons are too powerful. Our technology is too advanced. Letting these people have any serious amount of control over the species is dangerous. It's so dangerous because it can get worse than Owlman. It can get worse than total blackout, and it is. It already is worse than Owlman at this point, because when you talk about tens of billions of sentient creatures going through the abuse and slaughterhouse every year, it's worse. It's worse than Lights Out. And not, you can say not for humans, sure, I guess, but that's specious. It's completely specious to recognize. And when you realize that all consciousness it's a field, it's all connected. You could just as likely be one of those animals, and maybe because of your karma you will be. Then you can understand that how truly awful it is to have that many sentient creatures going through this, growing up in abject abuse followed by the slaughterhouse is just the worst. It's so terrible. And under any other context you would agree. It's like, if you're so specious, you can only imagine this for yourself as a human. Just imagine that we get invaded by goblins from outer space, and that they start factory farming humans because they love the taste of human meat. I mean, it's not that hard to imagine how this could go all wrong, and see the evil behind all of this, and then to demonize the very people who are trying to raise awareness and put a stop to this ultra violence torture culture of animals is it is the epitome of spiritual evil, because really what we're doing is we're peddling compassion. We're compassion peddlers. The only real profit is the dividends that compassion pays. And so that's the opposite of evil. And if you're attacking it, it says something about your character. It really does. So remember, nothing tastes better than good karma.